Hi, Rishanth.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
How are you,
Yeah,
Rishanth?
yeah, good. Thank you, Vishnu.
Everyone here, the Rishanth Reddy sir, Indian Police Service Officer of 2015 UPSC and 2016 cadre of Andhra Pradesh. Right now, Chittoor district SP. And in that particular year, getting 204 marks for interview was absolutely awesome marks at that time. I think the highest marks is 206, and he is the second, the highest in India with respect to the interview marks. At that time, he was everyone know about him because of the marks. So Rishanth Reddy sir, please help our students who are appearing for UPSC interview who cleared mains. And if anyone of you have your queries also, you can ask the sir. Uh, so uh, First, my question to you, please, how you managed to get 204 marks?
Yeah, hi, Vishnu, and good evening, everybody. Yeah, so Vishnu has been an old friend of mine. We've, in fact, prepared together for a while, and then so the friendship still continues. So thank you, Vishnu, for having me over. So once again, congrats to all the participants who are in this Zoom conference who have cleared the mains and are preparing for the interview. So I think it's a really, I must say, commendable achievement. Clearing UPSC mains is not a small feat. So you're almost there, almost a step closer to the final deadline. So you've done well. Same time, I think this next few months, probably you'll be having a month or two before the interview starts. So use this time very wisely because whatever time you spend on preparing yourself for this last leg of preparation is going to alter many things, as in probably for those who must be in the borderline case, you may end up getting a service. For those of you who might be getting service, probably not so preferred, may actually jump into the most sort of services. So, and then for those who are already near to the service that they want, they might actually go close to the cadre they want. So there are multiple things that might get changed because of interview, where you have a lot of discretion. In written part of the examination, usually the scope for scoring is not that high, because almost everybody will be reading the same material. They will be writing similar answers. So the scope for managing to get an extra edge in general studies, or probably in your optional paper, is very less. Only maybe I'm thinking in essay or an ethics paper, where you'll have some leeway to score that extra marks over your competitors. And the most biggest advantage will be in the interview. Whoever managed to do well in the interview, you will easily have a head start of 50 to 60 marks of variation. So take it very seriously, and more importantly, don't be afraid of the entire setup, and then the entire the build up to the interview, because it can be overwhelming, because people will be giving you a lot of feedback about how the process will be, how you'll be grilled, and what sort of questions will be asked, and how the atmosphere will be in the interview room. So don't be so overwhelmed. Yes, it will be interesting and it'll be exciting. There will be people who are there to assess you and know you. So hence there will be certain amount of fear in your mind, and that entire build up to the final day will be little overwhelming. So handle stress properly. Next few days, whatever time you have, use it very wisely. Prepare your DAF thoroughly, because that is the only window they have to know about you. What are your interests, and what are your what sort of person you are. So that's the only way they can assess you better. So prepare very well on your DAF, and when you're feeling your DAF also, I think you should be very, very cautious. Do not try to mislead the interview or the chairperson. Be honest to whatever you've written to the in the DAF. So when you're writing itself, be very, very honest about what you're writing. And then you're presenting also, be very, very honest about what you're presenting in the interview process also. Uh, Apart from that, yes, you may have to be prepared with your GS, and to the next maybe your optional background also, because you never know what sort of question might be triggered in the interview room. So you should be very well prepared. I don't think that now that mains is over, so you may not be asked about those questions that have been already asked in the mains. No, your discussion might straight away start about your optional. From there on, it might be built also. So revise your optional, your general studies also well, and read about your native place, your home state, your home districts, and international relations. Importantly, in fact, off late I see there is a lot of tendency to focus upon international relations in interview. So please be prepared and well versed about India's stand and how we are going to benefit globally, and what is our outlook towards foreign policy. So these are some broad aspects which I think you should be prepared. So I would rather want to, know or take questions so that way I'll be able to answer better, because instead of giving a monologue about what I have done.
Uh, Good evening, sir. Sir, my name is Nitish. I belong to Bihar, and I did my schooling from Karnataka, Bangalore, and I'm serving in Gujarat as a Gujarat Administrative Services. Sir, I have a little doubt that I do not want to opt as my home state as my first preference. Will that be an issue, sir, in interview?
No, that won't be an issue, but you should have an explanation as to why don't you want to be in your home state. So that will be an obvious question. So as long as you are prepared. So is there any specific reason why you don't want to opt, or?
Sir, actually, my entire family is not at all staying in the home state. As all of them has moved away, and even I am settled in Gujarat. And the second thing is that, sir, the insider seat in IAS particularly, sir, it is not available to unreserved category since last 4 to 5 years. It is not available. I'm not. I don't know about this particular year, sir. But since 2019, there was only once in 2020 that insider vacancy was there. That too, only one vacancy was there, sir. And this is the only explanation as right now I'm having this, sir.
But I think so. Your first part, I agree. The second part, I think it's not probably an answer which interview panel would actually like it, or for that matter, anybody would like it, because as I already said, also the next question will be you are supposed to serve wherever you are, so you can't prejudge whether there will be a vacancy or not. So I think you can stick to your first answer where your family stays somewhere else. So I think it's just not your choice, so that's okay. I don't think a major grilling might happen, but you be prepared. But whatever you've told in the second half, I don't think that might actually go well with the panel. So,
Sir.
Yeah. As such, it's not an issue. As such, it's not an issue at all. And as long as you defend well, I think it's absolutely fine.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm Narendra. And my question is, most of us will be mentioning the zone 4 as last choice, like Northeast. So what can be the question on that from the panel, and what should be our answer?
No, that's okay. Northeast being something on the zone 4 part, which will be your last preference. I don't see it will be a big question as such, but yes, because geographical proximity from your native place is something everybody would be interested in. So usually the typical answer in such cases where you'd be asked, why have you chosen states which are close to your home state? So that will be obvious question in general people will be asking. So my answer probably would be that the geographical proximity is it's an imaginary comfort that we all have. Because there is a choice, you're taking the choice. If there would have been no choice, you would have still not taken it. So I think that's okay. You can straight away tell them that geographically it's quite far from your native place, and you would prefer to work in and around your home state because you know the culture and it's geographically it's close to your family. So yeah, hence you may not want to work in a place which is really far off. As in, you prefer not to. As in, we are not actually giving up on the idea of working in a remote state, but because because UPSC gave us a choice to opt, so hence you're given a choice. So that should be fair enough, I think.
Okay, sir.
Good evening, sir. Maruti here. Sir, I have a doubt regarding my entry 7, like hobbies and extracurricular activities. Sir, my hobbies and extracurricular activities mostly hover around sports only, be it in leadership or hobbies or participation or medals. Sir, and it is not diversified completely. Only sports is the main category. So will that affect in any way regarding my interview?
No, that doesn't matter at all, actually. So, but whatever you have written, be sure that you are thoroughly prepared about whatever you've put on your DAF. So I think it is good. Be honest about what you're writing, because instead of trying to make up some stuff in the last moment and
Yes,
then getting caught in the interview process, because I'm telling you, they're going to grill you really bad. So especially on the hobbies part and the extracurricular, because they also know that the tendency to lie and exaggerate is higher on that part.
yes, sir.
So hence they also want to probe and find out how truly interested are you in the particular activity. So it's better and it's good also, and it's for your own interest that you speak the truth and you put out whatever you actually have been pursuing. But having said that, please be prepared about it properly. It should be, it should not be like actually, so let us say somebody who is not preparing for the examination, and you must be having a lot of your friends whom you've met during college who used to play sports for the sake of playing it.
Yes, sir.
Not as an active interest, but from a UPSC aspirant who is preparing for this examination. So the panel expects you to have a well thought out, mind about all these extracurriculars, that you actually pursued it with a reasoned and educated mind, not like somebody who just plays it for the sake of playing it. So rather, they would expect you to be an observer who is well informed about the entire activity, whichever activity it could be, or whichever sport you're pursuing it. So please be prepared on those lines, and I think it should be fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. That was my doubt.
Sir, good evening, sir. My name is Vijay Kumar. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. I have two questions. One question is, actually, my age is 33 and I have worked in ISRO as scientist for 4 years. Then presently working in Indian Telecom Service, which is selected through engineering service exam. It's been 6 years. Total, I am working in government for 10 years. So if they ask like, you will be losing your experience, all this. Why do you want to change the service? So can I tell that I will join only on the 2-3 premier services like IAS, IPS, and IRS? Rest of all, I
100%.
won't. Can I say that answer?
Yeah, you can actually. If that is what is your motivation, you can. But are you actually filling up all the preferences, or you're only going to choose those 3 services?
Actually, I filled all Group A services. Sir, I have filled all Group A services.
Okay, as in, so then you must be prepared to answer. So what makes you feel that these other services are better than this service? That will be a question for sure. Because having worked for almost 10 years in the government, so a question that anybody would be reasonably asking is, why are you quitting and appearing for the examination, and what is it that these services are offering you which your current job is not offering? So you should have a very well thought out answer on this. You can definitely answer that you're going to only pick up these few services, but when you're filling up the options, then definitely they're going to see through that. If you actually want to join the top 3 services, then why have you filled all the other services? So either you have a better answer, or only fill the service which you want to join. So either of these two should be happening.
Okay. Sir, one more question, sir. In interest, I have filled helping others in achieving their career goals through guidance. So
Okay.
actually, this is actually many people used to approach me for technical or motivational purpose to help them through clearing exams. So I used to guide them. I'm very passionate about it also. I will feel for them and try to help as much as possible. But I won't proactively go and approach everyone, or only when they ask me I will do it. Can I write this?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was about to tell you. See, when they're talking about interest, so it means what are you going to do proactively? So would you go in search of everybody who would want to get motivated, then motivate them, or do you proactively go search for lectures about career guidance, everything, or do you actually only help people who come to you? So that is not interest. So that is just your nature. Probably you just want to help others, you just want to guide them. It probably could be a small part of your overall attitude and attitude. That's all. But I don't think it is an interest per se, because what UPSC is looking for when you write it as an interest is you proactively pursue it. Where for example, let us say if my interest is probably writing. So how often do I write? What do I write about? So these are the things that will be follow-up questions. But in your case, I think either if you're doing it proactively, where you go to coaching centers or you've been called by people professionally, or you do it by visiting certain colleges or institutions, and then you guide people, you motivate them, then I think it's worth writing. Otherwise, I think it might not be a great area to get into.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir,
Preetam,
sir, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Sir, this is my first attempt and my age is 21. So I had some questions like, what are the concerned advantages or disadvantages? And if there are any disadvantages, how to deal? And if there are any advantages with the age, then how could I leverage that?
I don't think that could be a question as such, as in people would want to know about what are the disadvantages of getting. Okay, I can understand one thing, that maybe because I'll tell you one thing. If UPSC has given a age criteria, so anybody above this particular age criteria is eligible to write the examination. So they have made up their mind already. I don't think there'll be a question again that why have you appear for the exam so young? But one possible area could be, I'm presuming right after college you've written the examination and you've got into the mains. So only possible question could be not having prior work experience. So would that actually hamper you in administering whatever job you get into, or would it actually help you? That could be a possible question, but not about particularly why have you appeared so young for the examination might not be a question.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, hi, ma.
Sir, actually, I was filling the form, so I got confused while filling home state. What is the criteria for choosing the home state? There's no instructions or guidelines for it. I searched for it and didn't find it. So I was confused. Actually, my father is from Haryana and my mother is from Uttarakhand. So few of my seniors were saying that you can fill Uttarakhand as well. And currently I'm residing in Haryana. So can
So
there be a
actually, yes. So actually, as far as I remember, there is no clear-cut guideline as to what will be your home state, honestly, because usually it could be the majority of the period wherever you have done your education, you can take that as a criteria, or wherever you were born, so that could be taken as a criteria, because or whatever, or your mother's place also. So actually, there is, as far as I remember, I'm not sure about the latest guidelines, but when we had appeared, then there was no clear-cut criteria as to what is your home state. So I think that freedom you can take, and I don't think there was any case on this also where it was settled. I'm not sure, 100% I can tell you that, but this is what comes to my mind.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, continuing on that, what should be my answer regarding the inexperience of?
Yeah. So I think what I would recommend is, just have ponder about it, as in if you have already had work experience, how it would help you in doing a better job with the services. And not having any sort of work experience, having your slate very clean and then starting, what
Yes.
sort of advantages you bring onto the table. So you just try to ponder about it. So don't try to give an answer which will sell with the board. So rather speak your soul, whatever you honestly feel. Whatever you honestly feel, you I think tell to the board. So I would probably say, if I'm in your place,
Yes.
maybe I would have told that, I think because not having a work experience, because anyways, as a part of your job, you'll be, doing so many roles, you'll gain work experience. Someday you have to start somewhere. And moreover, starting young gives you a long career. So where you can actually reach the pinnacle of the position and actually bring about a qualitative change, where you'll be in policy making roles, where you can actually add some value to the system.
Yes, sir.
And Yeah, so that's pretty much what I can think about right now. So think for yourself as in, starting. So what was your motivation? So because you were probably very clear right from the beginning that this is the area where you want to work in, right? You don't have any second thought about it. That's why probably you got in service. I don't know. I'm not, that's what I'm asking. So what was your motivation? Think about it. Why did you not sit? Because see, if you make up an answer, it will show off. If you're honest about it, it will be visible. People can feel it, whether you're being honest to what you're telling. So if you probably read an answer from somebody else and then go present in the interview room, it will be it'll look artificial. It won't cut the ice with the board probably. So just think, sit, and just have a deep thought about why have you come for the examination, or why have you appear for government services when private service pays you better, or when probably you could have done something else. So I think try to weave an answer on those lines.
Yush.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Sir, my home state is Andhra Pradesh. My question is, how much depth should we know about our home state? And what were the sources through which we can get information from?
Okay, so how much depth? I think you should know it reasonably well, to the extent that at least the figures regarding your state financial. Yeah, so you must at least be aware about your state's geographical, political, historical, and cultural indicators to a well-informed level. So I would say you may please read up. I think there is economic survey that even state government releases. So you may go through it for you to have an idea about economic indicators, and for geography and cultural indicators. There are a lot of, I think, textbooks available for APPSC examination where they test you on these lines. So you can, try to access those textbooks so that you can have. You need not probably prepare it to the level that you're going to write mains on this particular topic, but you should have a reasonable idea about, these particular areas.
Sir, my second question is, whenever a question is asked, should we always support the government in that question, or we can take the stand against them?
100% you can take a stand against the government, provided you have a well formed reason behind it. So in fact, I would encourage you to have an adverse opinion, because unless there is an adverse opinion, you won't bring anything new to the discussion. So having said that, don't unnecessarily be too critical about everything. So if you actually think there is something that has to be changed, or you're critical of the view of the government, you can openly tell it. And I encourage people to tell, because you have the courage to speak out. But when you're speaking out, have a solid reason behind why you're being, so critical about a particular policy. And when you're speaking out, be polite in your approach, because people who are administering the government in the center or state, they are not some lame guys. They're well-read people sitting there, and they know what they're doing. And at times, yes, they can do mistakes. So you also be mindful of this fact, and then you can disagree with the policies 100%. There's no problem in that.
Yashwant.
So good evening, sir. Myself,
Hi.
Dr. Ashwin, sir. Sir, I was like coming out a batch of COVID-19, sir. Actually, during that period, we were actually awarded a COVID appreciation certificate from district health and family welfare department, sir. So can I mention that in prizes, medal, scholarship, sir?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, sir. And second thing is like, sir, they've actually given one criteria, sir. Please give particulars at university or state level. Sir, actually, I have participated in sports in high jump and throw ball, sir. But I went up to district level, sir. Like I want
That's
the
okay.
silver.
See, I'll tell you one thing. So whatever indicators they have written there, so you need not actually have done really well, and also okay. They just want to know whether you have played sports to a reasonable level, like not that where you played gully cricket and you still mention play cricket. No. So is there an institution to which you have represented? So that's why they put this criteria, university, college level. So if you represented your college or university or with your hostel also, I think it's fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So second thing, sir. Third one, sir. Actually, sir, I mentioned that one of my hobbies is practicing pranayama, sir. Sir, is it better to use word pranayama and sir, which is more specific, or should I go for yoga, sir?
No, you be specific about what you're doing. I think it's better
Sir, I do
to
only.
speak about.
Okay, so I do only pranayama, so I don't
Yeah, then
do other
no,
asanas.
no, sir. Then only speak about pranayama yoga. That's all. That should be fine.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Narendra.
I'm asking another question that right now I'm in services. I'm working in Delhi Metro. So 2-3 awards I have got there, like Directors Award and MD's Award. So and other sports awards. So and some prizes during Vigilance Awareness Week or like that. So shall we mention those, or we can limit to the university and school level or college
No,
level?
I think you should. No, you should mention, Narendra. I think you should mention because you've achieved them, you've earned them. So I think you should mention them.
Okay, thank you.
So I would only recommend that probably mention those where you've it should not be an award where it is given regularly. Because I see in government there will be few awards, where they just for the sake of giving it, they give like participating in a particular conference or conducting Vigilance Week. So I don't think that is an area where you should be focusing. But yes, among a particular set of group where you've been assessed and you've been awarded a particular, as you've said, Directors Award, MD Award, that's pretty decent award. So I think you should mention.
Those are based on the annual performances or
Then I
outside.
think then you should definitely mention it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yogi.
సార్ నమస్తే సార్. సార్ మీరు మీ యూపీఎస్సీ జర్నీలో ఎదుర్కొన్న డిఫికల్టీస్ వాటికి మీరు క్రియేట్ చేసుకున్న ఓన్ స్ట్రాటజీస్ మాకు ఏమైనా షేర్ చేయగలరా సార్? మా ప్రిపరేషన్ కి ఉపయోగపడుతుంది.
జోగి, ఇప్పుడు ప్రస్తుతానికి అయితే ఐ థింక్ ఇంకా ఇట్స్ ఎ లాంగ్ గాన్ ప్రాసెస్. సో ఐ కెన్ ఓన్లీ టెల్ వన్ థింగ్ దట్ ఈ ఎగ్జామ్ ఈజ్ లిటిల్ టఫ్. You will have to go through a lot of processes. You will see good days, bad days. You will definitely see a lot of setbacks. So I can only tell you one thing: believe in yourself, work very sincerely. So everybody just think about it. How sincere have you been yourself to the process and to yourself? And then keep trying. Someday it will definitely happen. So that's all I can tell you. Don't give up very easily. So if you're fighting it out, let it count. So if you're attempting the examination, let the attempt count. You don't take anything lightly, because the fierce competition, a lot of people just like you have this dream and who are trying to get through the examination. So if you have to outsmart them, then think of what you have to do and what all you have to sacrifice. So I would tell you it's all worth it. So just keep trying, stick to the process, assess yourself frequently, take constant feedback and improvise. Someday it'll happen. So that's pretty much my learning from the journey, whatever I've had so far.
Saurav.
Yes, thank you, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Sir, my question is less about depth, more about the process. First of all, sir, do you think the more the timing of interview will stretch, the more marks will get?
So I don't think as such, but I can only tell you that a decent interview where probably if you're being so, it doesn't matter actually speaking. At times board may assess you for 15-20 minutes. They might still give you better marks, and interview might run into 45 minutes, where they have seen through you. So basically, only the criteria should be this. What I personally feel is, interview where you've done reasonably well. So your depth of personality must be judged by the interview. So you should have had questions where your depth of thought, depth of personality must be judged, and they should not be able to see, how deep your thoughts are. So you should, constantly let them probe deeper, deeper, deeper. That's what you should. They're looking for. So on a normal day, I wouldn't say the time of an interview matters, but yes, you should have a reasonable time to express yourself. It can't be so that you finish off in 10 minutes and then come out of it. No. But anyways, that is out of your control. So you can't actually do much about it. Once you are in the room, if the chairperson decides he's had enough of you and he wants you to leave, then you have to leave. You don't have a choice. You can't argue with me, so you have not asked me this question. So that's not going to happen. So during the process of interview also, don't unnecessarily get too anxious that, okay, they're not probably asking you what they should have asked you, or the discussion is going in a different direction from what you want it to be. So one thing what I can tell you is, in the interview process, if possible, I don't know, for a lot of people, it may be possible, it may not be possible, but you should be the one who should be in control of situation. If you leave the control to the people sitting in the room, then it's going to be very, very difficult for you to grab their attention or get good scores out of the interview process. Because once you leave the control to them, they're going to take it to any extent. Rather, you be in charge of the situation. You have control over things. Then I think results will happen. So try to take control of situation by giving answers which will get their attention, and where you will have a leading question to it. So for that, you need to prepare beforehand. So it can't so happen that it will be like a conversation between you and your friend or you and your parents. No, it is a question of assessing you. So it's an examination. So you should prepare for those conversations. When you fill out your DAF, and after that also write list of questions. What could be the possible questions that might be short the moment anybody sees your DAF? So sit through it. Try to assess what all questions could be asked. Write some answers to it. Refine them. Practice them. Speak them out. So your approach to life, to service, your knowledge base, everything should be reflected in those answers. So it needs a certain amount of chiseling. It needs a certain amount of refinement in those answers. So it takes some time. So don't think that this is a casual process where you're talking to your friend or probably your teacher. No. So this is an examination end of the day. So you have to prepare for it well. Yeah. So that's what I would want to tell about the processes in the room.
Nitish.
Thank you, sir, for such insightful answer. Sir, one more thing, sir. I think that's happened with most of aspirants. It's also my second interview, sir. Sir, what happens that after before interview or in some mocks, that's you get negative views, or even in interview process you made some minor mistake, like I call ma'am, sir, during I'm so anxious at that interview. So how to handle that situation and as you said, get control of the situation? If you bit answer about that.
I didn't understand, so I missed it. So what exactly had happened?
Sir, actually, at the time of interview, I was so anxious because my first attempt and first interview at that time. I was so anxious that when I wish them, I actually wish a ma'am by calling her sir. And
That's
even I
okay.
didn't get it.
See, these obvious errors of wishing a person and all, I don't think it is going to actually matter a lot, because everybody, see, if the same chairperson, when they are about to meet the Honorable Prime Minister, they will be equally anxious. So I don't think that would have costed you the interview. I think the narrative, as in once you start the discussion, in what plane. So I would think that when somebody is talking to me, or whenever somebody is talking to you in an interview, the level of discussion should be very matured, and it should be as if they are talking to a future policy maker who is going to decide the fate of this country. It should not be something like who they're talking to somebody in college, or they're talking to somebody in a coaching center, or they're talking to somebody who is their neighbor. No, they're talking to a person who is well thought out, well framed, and with whom they're having a serious discussion. So think of it this way: whenever you're answering, you actually think that someday when you sit in that seat and when you are asked to advise the government, be it the Honorable CM or the Honorable Prime Minister or whoever it is, how would you advise, and would your advice actually be benefiting the country or not? So take that seriousness in your mind and try to elevate the discussion in the room to that level. So only then they will connect with you. So that could be the only reason. Otherwise, I don't think probably not wishing the lady member first, or not addressing ma'am as sir, would actually cost you an interview. I don't think so. But yes, definitely it's better to be on the right side. But these small little mistakes, it doesn't matter. I think as long as even and one more thing I should be telling is, in the interview process also, it might so happen that the first half might be so mundane, very bored, dull. But then you see a question where you are able to see a beautiful answer into that question, or where you can reflect your personality. So the whole idea about the interview is to know your personality, to express what have you read, how much of hard work you put in the examination, what has been your journey so far in your life, your preferences, your taste, your family, your ideals, your ideas for the country. So all these things, they should be able to see it through. It is not enough if these thoughts are in your mind, you should proactively figure out an answer where you will slowly try to feed this, use those answers as your carriers, to put all your thoughts, your ideas, your ideals, to let the interview panel, understand you better. So treat those questions like that. You should use them as a platform to, express yourself better. So in the process, yes, initially there could be certain, problems where, as you said, you must have started on a bad note. Let us say you start off on a very wrong note by probably not addressing them properly, or the first question itself was very bad, that that you couldn't answer it well. But even then, I think you can still get things under control, provided you have certain calmness in your mind. It is okay. I'll tell you one thing, until you walk out of the room, until you actually step out of the room, you still have an opportunity to turn it around. So you can turn it around at any point of time during the interview. So you might get one good opportunity. What happens is usually when I feel, so I've never been in the panel in UPSC, but during our days of preparation, we used to do mock interviews. So what used to actually be, so let us say if I'm sitting on the other side where I've been asking questions in mock interviews, I wouldn't remember what all questions for which you have not answered. I would only remember that this fellow made an impression in my mind, that he is somebody special, he's somebody different. There will be one answer or one insight that must have actually, made me believe or made me think or made me remember you. Okay, this is this guy who would actually, whom I found was pretty good. So I wouldn't even know, or I wouldn't even remember what all questions you have not answered. So use every minute in the interview room to your advantage. Until you walk out of the room, you still have an opportunity to score better. So think of it that way. And leave your anxiety. That is, just go celebrate yourself there, because this is one bloody opportunity which you've earned working so hard. So don't be very anxious and throw it away. Go there, enjoy the entire interview, be happy. It shows off. When you celebrate the process, it shows in your face. And I'm telling you, that will actually leave a lot of positivity in the room and the minds of the people who are assessing you. So, don't be too nervous and, bogged down by things that, this is not working out, that's not working out. Don't think so much. You're prepared enough before you go to the interview room. Just go there and celebrate.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, Nitish.
Yes, sir. Good evening again, sir. Sir, while in my school days, I played state level hockey as well as cricket, sir. And off late, I have developed a hobby of running half marathon. Like since last 2 years, I have been running in all over the country. So should I mention all these three sports, or should I cut down, sir? Because while writing the DAF, I think I get more of the points, which seems to be overloaded, sir. Should I trim it
Yeah,
down?
so
Some
I got the point. So actually, honestly, if you ask me, keep it as trim as possible. Don't make it clumsier, because uh, you can clearly see a DAF which is very. So I'll tell you one of the my fellow aspirants. So he's got into the IAS in 2014 actually. So he's currently in Maharashtra cadre. So that was my first insight into the interview process. So we were doing a mock interviews, all of our friends sitting together. So this guy who so when his turn had come to be the aspirant, and when we were taking the interview, we just saw his DAF. It was nil nil nil. The entire DAF was zero, except for one particular column which said, "What are your interests?" He just writes, "He is a ardent follower of Osho." That's all. The entire DAF had only one particular statement or sentence. And initially, I felt that this fellow was foolish. But then for good 35-40 minutes, all of us, we wanted to know so much about Osho. As in, we wanted to know how much did he know about Osho, whether he was being, what do you call, very lame in writing that, or was he actually well informed? So the entire discussion of 45 minutes only took place on philosophy and on Osho. And actually he had, I felt so that, the leaner you keep it, the better focus the interview will be. It will be easier for the interviewer also to ask questions.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Anybody want ask any doubts, mainly beginners? Rishanth, can you please explain about how your interview went so that others also will know about it? Means how you entered or what are the questions they ask generally for 2 minutes?
So as I've told you, so my approach was initially, so I will probably run through, in a broad perspective on how. So I gave 3 interviews. So initially I had got 165, and then I managed to get 190, and then I got 206 in 3 interviews. So my journey was mostly because initially when I was, sometime back, one of the aspirants here, they were talking about how anxious they were in the interview room, and because they didn't wish the person, addressed ma'am as sir, and then, got really timid, and then, ended up not doing so well. So that was, I had a similar experience in my initial interview. I was actually entering with an opinion into the room, thinking that, it's better they ask me very less questions. It's better if they ask me easy questions, because I wanted to come out of the room as soon as possible. That's how my approach was initially. So that was because I was playing from a very defensive mindset in trying to avoid questions and trying to avoid uncomfortable situation, trying to avoid a conversation. And that was showing off, initially when I had entered the room and I was talking to them, my answers, my replies and everything, it was very bland and dull. And then after that, I worked on what has gone wrong. And then after, doing these mock interviews of so many friends in the process, then I realized that when I was doing mock interviews, I could see it myself. If they're a group of 10 people, so after 9 interviews, you'll realize which is a person who has made an impact on your mind, is somebody who actually has, opened himself up before you and, made you see into his personality. So from the second interview on, I've changed my strategy on those lines, what I've just narrated now, that, be confident that first of all, you've earned this. Nobody has given it to you, as arms for anybody. This is your bloody hard work, which has got you until here. So first be proud of it and be confident about it, that, you have got this far because you worked hard for this. And number 2, you've already read enough, and use this as a platform to show them what you are. Don't try to avoid interaction or discussion. Don't try to avoid uncomfortable situation. It will be there. Use this platform to let them know they are there to assess you, and yes, they are there to actually eliminate students. So that is also criteria. So don't give them a chance to eliminate you. So you open up yourself to them and show them what you're made of, what were your struggles so far, what is your depth of your thought. Because you don't have anything else in the room. You don't have a paper to write. It is only questions, conversations through which you will communicate your thought, your ideas, and everything. So be confident, have that proactive approach, where you are on top of things. So that's when I think interview will be completely in your control, and you should feel by the time you walk out of the room, you should feel that you could make them ask questions which you wanted them to ask. That I would call it as a beautiful interview, where you could trigger them to ask questions which you wanted them to ask. Just like, I mentioned about one of my friend who only wrote about one particular column in the entire DAF, leaving everything as, 000, because the moment I saw it, the first question was, what is this? I wanted to know, what do you know about this person? And the entire discussion revolved around the particular aspect. So that's all I could probably, share with you about how the interview happens.
Yes, the young aspirants and the young minds who are attempting the first attempt for 2024 next year, May prelims are scheduled. So how their motivation level should be there, or how they have to prepare for the young minds?
I think it's probably before you start the examination, I will only ask them to be true to themselves as to what is their motivation to come for the examination, because this exam is going to take a lot of time and energies and a lot of sacrifices in the process. You will see tears, you will see sweat, and you will go through a lot of turmoil, but so you bloody have to be prepared to handle all those things. So that comes only when your motivation is right, and you have a very strong commitment to the process, that you will take it to the extreme. The exam will test you to the extreme, and you should also be ready to face the extreme and give it back. So first, don't jump into the process because it looks glamorous, or don't jump into it because somebody had told you. So write the examination only if your motivation is so serious that you are willing to sacrifice so many things. And I think how to prepare, there is ample material to guide students about how to prepare and what to do, what not to do. But I would only I don't want to go into that because it's been quite some time since I'm out of the process of examination. So my only suggestion is be true to yourself and your intentions, whatever it is. Good, bad, might sound lame also at times, but even then you have one good solid reason as to why you are willing to sacrifice so many things. So I think once that is in place, then you will put sincere efforts, and once you have sincere efforts in decent direction, I think if not once or twice, eventually people will get in there.
So anyone, any questions? Why? Because already Rishanth sir had gave a very good amount of time and very good knowledge also. So Pratyush, please go on.
Sir, is there any way to develop bureaucratic language or way of choosing words carefully in the interview, sir?
Yeah, I think that is very important. Honestly, I feel that is another change what I've made in my approach also after the first interview, because I think whatever language you're speaking, maybe if it's English, or if you opt for a language of your native language, you better have very good choice of words, because it gives a beautiful impact. It leaves a very good impact in the room and in the minds of the interviewer. So that can be developed probably by talking more, by trying to deliberately use those words in a conversation. So you can pick up those words by reading probably Hindu, yes. And when you read books, so try to look for those words, how sentences have been framed. And when you write those answers to those questions in your DAF, so, there's one last question we'll take and we'll close for the day.
Yashwant and Pratyush, please.
Sir,
Yeah.
Sir, can you suggest any book that can help boost my personality in this limited time? That can aid.
Sorry, any particular
book, sir?
So honestly, I think reading a book might not change a person's personality overnight. Probably, maybe I think putting some deliberate, conscious efforts. I can see. I'll tell you one thing. In the examination, in the interview hall, whatever you speak is what they get to see. So be honest about it. And yes, I don't think there'll be a bad personality as such. It all depends on how you justify it, how you present it to the interview panel. So honestly, personally, I don't think reading books per se would change a person's personality in a matter of a month or two. It should be nurtured over a period of a year or two. And when you've come this far, I think you've already are good. I don't think you should invest too much time in trying to tinker around with your personality at this stage. So maybe try to overcome if there are any weaknesses in terms of, some people are unnecessarily too critical about the system and everything. So those things could be avoided. So if you ask me one particular trait. But I think it's too late and not necessary also right now to tinker around too much about what you, because see, initially what happens when you enter the interview room, you'll be thinking 1,000 things. This is what I'm going to tell. This is what I'm going to tell. The moment you step into the room, one or two off questions, then you were lost. Your true self will come out eventually within matter of 5-10 minutes. Your real self will come out. So we can't hide ourselves for too much also. So don't invest so much time on that. Maybe. Yeah. So we'll close, Vishnu.
Sir, one last question.
Yeah.
Sir, my mother is from Kurnool, sir, and I am from Ballari, which borders Kurnool. Sir, should I be prepared with those questions from Rayalaseema?
100%. Yes, you should.
Okay, thank you.
So everyone, we from student community and from myself, thank you very much, Rishanth Reddy sir. Why? Because in spite of, I know that today Honorable Chief Minister is coming to Chittoor. In spite of that, you gave some time and you empowered the students, those who are attempting UPSC. And if they get the rank compulsory, they will be thankful to you. And the inputs were very much useful, knowledgeable. And of course, you are the topper, 204 marks. And once again, congratulations. And I'm very proud of you by seeing your work in internet and everywhere. I will be noticing you. It's great as my friend. Thank you very much, Rishanth Reddy. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishnu, and all the very best to all of you. Please do very well and stay in touch. And I hope you'll all come out of the process, with flying colors. And even if you don't, also it's okay. Life has got a long to offer. Don't get too dejected. Life is a very long journey, so you will see, brighter side of it someday, if not today. Good luck. Thank you and good day.